But I started working on this, and then I'm like, oh well, maybe somebody will be interested in this. This clock has an issue. It doesn't work. It's my parents, and they said it tried a couple times to jump to the floor and run off, but that little jump damaged it, of course. You can see on the bottom, broke off the edge, and it doesn't actually tell time anymore or day of the week, so it's dead. So I just wanted to tear this apart and see if we could figure out why it's dead, and see what might be broke on it and see what's going on. You put a battery in it and it doesn't move at all, and you'll notice that it doesn't have the third hand, so we won't actually be able to see it moving unless we sit here for a while and wait for this hand to move. But so I already have the battery out. It's just your basic clock thing. I looked this thing over. There is a bad thing about this, about trying to fix this, and that is, if I take this off, only 3 screws left. The other one broke, and who knows where that is. Now usually when you take something apart like this to try to look at it, you'll go ahead and take this thing out and do whatever you got to do and then put it back together. Well, this particular clock, the way they assembled this is this piece, the outside and the bottom, is all one piece, and then this top is another piece, and all this is just a round piece of Lexan plastic, whatever you want to call it, and they must have super glued it or something around the edge, so we can't get to the hands to pull the hands off to remove this part. And if those hands fall off, then they're just going to sit in there, and there's nothing we can do about it until we break this piece out of there. So I'm going to try to look at this without having to take this piece out, because I don't think we're going to get it out in one piece, being that it's glued around the edge and stuff like that. So first, I guess we'll just take this piece off. Like I said, I dug into this a little bit, but then realized, well, maybe this might be interesting for somebody to watch. So I stopped and started this video. I know working on a clock like this isn't that exciting when you can buy a clock like this for probably $5 or something somewhere, but that's not the point. The point is, let's see what went wrong. Let's see if we can fix it. Gives us something to do. So I noticed that this top piece right here will come off from the bottom piece, and you can see this line that goes all the way down. So this is 3 pieces all together. You got the top, the middle, and the bottom. Well, the bottom we know we can't take off because the hands are on it, and they're pressed on a gear too, that are whatever they're pressed on. I'm assuming it's a gear. So if we pull that gear out, which we might, you never know, the hands are going to fall off. But so we got to take this off first to get to it. So I pried this piece off, just got a screwdriver underneath there, so I loosened that already, and I didn't push it back on when I put it back together to start this video. So we'll just take that and set it aside. Now the other hard part was how to get these clips off. Right here in the center is the little tab that holds this outside clip here down. Now being that this plastic is on there, you can see there's not a good way to get a screwdriver in there and pry that thing out. So I had to come up with some wild thing, and I found this right here. Just a piece of, this is a 14 gauge wire, and it's bent like a hook. So I can stick this right inside the gap on the bottom and pry it out while I stick a screwdriver in there to help me get that out. So I'm going to pry this out, get a screwdriver in the little gap, and help pry it just a little bit, but hopefully not enough to break it right off. And there's one side. You can see there's a big gap in there now. So yeah, that took me a little bit to figure out something how I was going to get in there. Now I'm just going to do the other side the same way. Grab it underneath the bottom there and use my little hook to pry it out, and stick the screwdriver in there to pry it out even farther, and lift it up. Hopefully the other side doesn't snap back down. There we go. Okay, so we got both of those, and you can see we've got a pretty good sized gap, but there's one more tab right here that we just gotta, which is easy. Oh, look at that. Holy smokes. Oh, and that's glass. I thought that was plastic. I was not expecting that to fall out. That was glued in there, I thought. I don't see no glue around the edge though. Holy smokes. I'm surprised that didn't break when it fell off the wall a couple times. Wow. Well, I guess now if we got to get to the hands, well, now since I already got it apart, but you know, when this thing was in there, I was taking a screwdriver and just trying to slip it in there to see if I could try to pry it up, maybe break the glue loose or whatever. And it sounded like, you know when you pry on glass and you hear the little chips, something like that. It sounded like it was glass, but I'm like, I'm beating on it and I'm hitting this. I'm like, no, that's got to be plastic. But wow, okay. We learned something new. Let me set this out of the way so it doesn't get broke. Well, that just made our job a lot easier. But I'll continue the way I was, just to kind of show you where I stopped. And wow, all right, nice. So we were at the point we were going to get this little tab out. So this one's the easiest one. We just twist that out, just pry it out a little bit, and that piece comes off. So that's all there was that come off there, so that's good. None of this stuff went flying. So this is what we got in here. We just got our coil and our gears, and this one here that I took off first, I should have explained what that was. This one was here, and then this little piece, if you can see it, it's a little dial thing. It's almost like the one that you turn the hands to set the clock, but this dial here actually turns this day knob or needle there. And that's why my mom kind of wanted to get this going again. She liked it with the day and stuff on there, you know, and she knows that this thing here is probably going to have to be replaced. But I still figure, you know, I'll take it apart and see what's going on, and you never know. But if we put the battery in here, okay, I just got the battery hitting the contacts, we should be able to see, I'm thinking, I'm not a clock person, but I'm thinking this gear right here should be moving, and you probably are way away from that, so you won't be able to see it, but I'm thinking this gear should be moving to spin the other ones, but it's not doing anything. Now, the contact for the battery right here and this long contact for the battery right here, they both go right down here. You can see that brown looking board. Well, right underneath that, you can see the two contacts, the two metal pieces coming out that hit something underneath that board for the contacts. That's my guess where the problem lies, maybe, is the battery contacts are not touching the spot that they're supposed to be touching anymore. That's why this thing isn't spinning. So I just wanted to get down that far to see if they are touching, and then go from there. Because if they're not, maybe we can make them touch it and then have this thing work again. But to see that, we got to take this out, and I didn't go no farther than this, so I don't know if I take this off if things are going to go fling. But like I said, I'm not a clock person, so I don't know. But I'm willing to give anything a try. It's considered garbage right now. We could just take this out, go to the store and buy a new one of these, put it back together. If we can find one that has the day thing on there. I don't know what you call it. It's not the third hand, but it's the day. So every 24 hours, this thing's got to move to the next day. So it isn't like you can go in the store and probably just pick one off the shelf and use it. But so let's see what it takes to get this off. I have to bear with me here a little bit because I have no clue. I wonder if this whole thing comes out, and I probably will have to take those hands off there because that's probably what's holding it. So maybe we do that. I don't want this stuff to fall off. Somebody just hold that on there like that, and maybe we'll just take these off now that we can. There's the little cap. Now we should be able to take each one of these off. Gently wiggling it back and forth so we don't bend the arm at all. Next one. That one's a little tough. Let me see if I can get a screwdriver right underneath the bottom. I don't want to pry too much. And I'm not prying on this part right here. I'm actually prying that center brass piece. I don't know if you can see the color. The brass piece that's in there, that's what I'm prying on underneath. I'm actually sticking the screwdriver in there and then twisting it a little bit to push up, and it did come up on that one side, so let me do it again on this side. Close. There we go. So that's the little piece I was prying up on right there. But I didn't want to bend the arm. And then we got this one. Alright, good so far. Now this whole thing we could take right out, and what we need to do that is, I'll just get this out of the way for right now, is we need to bend this piece. We got two clips, one here and one here. This one looks like it's just barely catching, and this one looks like it's really far over it. So we'll do the easy one first, and then maybe we could just slide it right out from that one. So that side's up now. pry too much on that, we'll break the plastic. We don't want to do that. We got to just get this all the way out of this side. Oh, there we go. I'm colding these gears because I don't want them to fall off. I mean, I'm sure they're probably going to anyway. But so there's the piece we would go to the store and look for and make sure it has the days on it. That's all there is to that. Let's set that aside now. And here's where we're change the glasses there. I had some magnifying glasses on just so I could see what was going on there. So this black on black probably doesn't work very good. It might. I mean, I'm actually looking at a TV right here that has the video playing on it, so I can kind of see what's going on, making sure I'm staying in the screen and stuff. The camera's straight up. My TV might need to be a little bit brighter though, so to me it looks like the image is a little dark, but the last video or two that I did like this, the video actually turned out fine, I think. So it's just the TV. I could probably stand to brighten it up just a little bit, but alright, so let's see what happens if we take this apart. I don't know if this is the way to do it. Oh, there's screws down here. Okay, that must screw into that, so I guess, well, let's put this back on then. Just temporary. We'll just hold it like this. Well, now since we got it off, we can put it on all the way. Just so the gears stay where they're supposed to. We'll take this side off and see what's going on this side. Maybe we're going to see something on this side that we couldn't see on the other side. So you never know, you might want to learn how to take one of these apart sometime just to see if you're able to fix it or not. Maybe it's something easy. I looked at another clock that I had hanging up on my wall, and there was a plastic kind of like some plastic thing like this in there, and it hit up against gears or something, and that plastic piece ended up breaking because the clock was so old, and so it definitely needed one of these. The one I got up there now, you can probably hear it ticking if I'm really quiet. It gets annoying sometimes. I live in a small house, so I can hear it when I'm laying in bed. Oh, there we got a couple gears. Looks like they can only go on one way, right? So we take that one off. That one's a little stuck on there, I don't know why. And that one's a little stuck on there. Okay, so this must be why the other side won't come out, because these are stuck on there. So let's I don't know if we should pry them off a little bit maybe. Okay, so that's the day hand. This is what Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, blah blah blah. So that's that, because this piece right here sticks on there. That's the lever to adjust it. Okay. So far it seems like it's pretty simple to go back together. I always take pictures because sometimes I'm forgetful. That one there, I know it's got to come off there somehow, because otherwise it won't go through the plastic. So I just got to figure out what part is trying to come off. say. Oh, it's coming. Oh, I think it's just the gear part is trying to come off. So I'm trying to pry this right here. So I think it's just this gear, and this piece is going to stay there. So I'm going to go around it and try to, with my little tiny screwdriver, try to pry it up, hopefully without breaking any teeth. Let me get a bigger screwdriver. My chair is a little noisy still, I haven't fixed it yet, but that's pretty snug on there. But you can see it's coming up. See if I can just pull it up. Okay, there we go. Just pulled that off. Alright, it's good so far. So now we should be able to take the rest of it out the back. So now we got to go and pry these open again. Now we can get underneath there. And hopefully do it without breaking it. There's that, and then don't forget the little one on the end. And there, that's all of them. Now that comes off. So now this whole thing should just come right out, and then the gears should fall all over the place, and then I don't get it back together because I don't remember how they went. But let you in on a secret, I do have a picture of this right here. I don't have a picture of that. Okay, you probably can't see what I'm seeing, but I'm just lifting this off slowly as the gears tend to drop back down. There we go. Okay, that's what was underneath there. Make sure I get the light out of there. And then I should be able to flip this over. Oop, that's what's on the other side of that. This, oh, that has a little ferrite bead on there. And that sits on a little tiny pin down in there. Let me stick that back in there for a second. There's a little pin that rides on. So that's the underneath there. And you can kind of see the ferrite bead that's on there. Alright, oops, I let go too soon. Okay, so that just, yeah, that just goes right on that little pin there that fell off. That just sits in there like that. So we'll set that aside. So from what I can see, it doesn't look like any gears are broken. They all look pretty good. So let's see, we'll just let's see, let's take this out. That one there. And then take this one out. I don't remember anything going in there, but so that goes like that, because it's got to hit the bottom gear underneath there, so when it turns, that turns. Alright. Well, let's get this out. I see a little crystal in there. crystal as in a 60 hertz timer, right? 60 hertz because of 60 minutes, an hour. 60, oh. So it looks like we got a little black dot circuitry. This is the kind of stuff that there's no fixing if there's something wrong with that underneath there. What I do see, wow, some glasses drive my eyes buggy. What I do see is really badly corroded. You see that green line right there? That's corrosion. Bad green looking stuff. Get a closer look at that. Yeah, that looks like it wore right through the contact, the contact for the circuitry there. It wore right through it, so it's sitting there, but it's not getting a contact there. I'll show you that. I'll take a picture with my phone and put it up there. This way we're both on the same both in the same place here. We know what's going on. Let's see what else we got. Everything else looks kind of okay. Looks like there's some kind of white residue or something right there. I don't know what that would be. Maybe it's just flux from when they soldered the crystal in there. Whatever you choose to call those. You can see that right there. Inside that little thing there is crystals that vibrate at 60 times per second. Let's see. And we got this that moves back and forth. I don't know. I'm not really sure why. I guess I can probably, yeah, I can take it all the way out. Like I said, I'm not a clocks smith, so I'm not sure. But unfortunately, I don't have my soldering iron set up. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause for a second. I'm going to clean this up with some alcohol to get that nasty little groove cleaned up. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to lay a nice thin layer of solder across this connection. And then we'll put this back together and see if something moves. Alright, give me 1 second. Alright, I got it all cleaned up and scraped away and everything, and you'll be able to see in the picture here that it actually ate away at some of the material there. So we'll hopefully putting a thin coat of solder over there will help it last a little longer. So I'm just going to touch a little bit on there and see how flat I can get it. And you can see the actual battery contact part that actually hits on there. You can see what it looks like. It had some stuff on there from the board. I cleaned it off and nothing happened to this. It didn't get pitted or anything. But so let's just see what we can do here. Doesn't like to cover any place that doesn't have metal to cover it. So it might be a little tough. There we go. I was having a little tough time getting it to cover it, but If you can get just enough to cover over it, because every time I'd brush the soldering iron over it, the holes where the spots where this wore into, they would just open up again. So I had to get it to where it would just lay a nice coat over that. And I don't know if you can see that. I can put a picture up here to show it a little bit better. So let me take a second to take a picture, and I'll be right back. It's not the best picture, but you can still see it's a little pitted, but I don't want to mess with it too much, because this little thing in here shouldn't wear that solder away anytime soon. I mean, I don't remember how long they told me they own this clock, and I'm sure I don't have a clue why this even dug into the board, unless it got wet, and there was some green stuff on there. And usually when you have some green stuff around any like contacts or where batteries are, that's usually some liquid of some sort leaked in there and it just started eating it away. So maybe a little bit of water got in this and got on that particular spot, but we'll see. Alright, let's see if we can put this back together now. Alright, this is going to go in here. And there's two little, them two holes in these metal pieces here. They actually sit right on two pins that come up through there, two plastic little pieces that come up through there to keep that piece still. It's all about magnetic flux and all that kind of stuff that I will not be digging into. Hopefully that works. Maybe we can get it together so far and then see if that one turns. So I believe this one went in next, then this one. Let's see, what else did we have? This one, was it this one? No, not this one. Not that one. I think it was just this part, because these go on the top part. Okay, so I believe this goes in here. Yeah, the little ferrite bead that I just dropped, that little ferrite bead that's on this gear here. Grab some tweezers here, see if I can hold on to this. Looks like seems like it's a magnet. Maybe it's not a ferrite bead, it's a magnet. But this sits, I think, right down in the center where that hole is. I think that goes right in there somewhere, and that is what creates the magnetic field and gets this thing turning around circles, and so I can tell you what time it is. Oops, keep dropping everything here. Alright, so, oops, uncoordinated at the finest right here, uncoordinated. Alright, so let's stick this down in there. That little magnet goes in where I showed you. This all sits down in little holes and stuff like that. Let's see if everything turns. Almost seems like there's something not in where it's supposed to go. I I'm just trying to turn the gear on the bottom. That doesn't want to turn. Everything turns really slow, so maybe, I guess it's all in there the way it's supposed to. Let's stick the battery in here. Now this isn't going to turn real fast, but maybe it'll turn enough to where we can see if it's going to work or not. Aha! It's working! Let me see if I can get it close to the camera, show you. Now I'm trying to see this with glasses I don't normally wear, and you can see it's moving. So that must have been the problem. Sorry if I'm yelling in the microphone, it's right next to it. So those contacts are what was giving us the failure on this. Nice. Alright, let's get this put together the rest of the way and make sure we can hear it ticking when I get it all together. I'm thinking you could hear it ticking a little bit over there. Well, besides that clock up there, that thing is so loud. That's one of those Homer Simpson clocks where it talks every hour, and I shut that off because, you know, it gets annoying after a while. And then every hour it would sound like a spring would shoot off. So my gears come on down here. There we go. So every hour it sounded like a spring would, it would really, like something's grabbing the spring, doing like that, you know, and that is so loud, it kept me up at night wondering when the next doing was going to happen. So I actually tore that clock apart and took that little spring out, so it wasn't so annoying. Alright, we can resume with what we were doing. I had a brain fart at the moment, so this part here, the gear is on the top and that slides over the center here, and that gets pushed down nice and snug. Like that. Now, why, I didn't test this before, but why these two gears don't mesh like this, see if you can see that, I don't know why, but this goes down like that. Now maybe it's when you adjust this, you're supposed to push it in when this little knob's on here. I never played with it before I messed with it, so, and maybe that has nothing to do with it. We'll find out. But then this one goes on here, and this one of course meshes with that one. Okay, and then let's see, we got a little pin right here that goes down the center of that one, it looks like. Just like that. And now we put the screws back in there. Little tiny things. So you don't strip them, always turn it backwards first till you hear a snap, and then you can screw it down. Otherwise you're just making new threads. maybe. I mean, you might get lucky and it'll go right in. Alright, that's together there. I guess we can pop this thing in here and see if that seems to be okay. Yeah, there is a display thing on there. There's a oops, I got my little screws falling over. There's a little tiny, if I get the light just right, little thing telling you right there, and it looks like an arrow up, so it's like you have to pull it out like I showed you to set it. So if I get my screwdriver underneath it, you see it pulled out like that, and then I think you turn the knob, whatever you want to put, whatever the day you want to put it on, and then when you're done you push it back in. Or vice versa, the other way, you push it in to adjust it and you pull it back, because pulling it back would pull it away from that gear, so that makes more sense. So when you want to adjust it, you push it in and turn it. I can't. That'd be kind of hard to do though, because you can't hardly get your fingers on there. When I pull it out and I turn it, I can feel this moving on this side. So let me do it this way. Maybe this will. Yeah. So that moves that. So if I push it in and turn it, oh, it doesn't turn. It's like it's locked, okay? So then the clock is actually going to turn it. When the clock is spinning, now that's going to turn this. But if I want to manually do it, I pull this back out, pull it out this way, and now I can manually set it. Now when I'm done, push it back in so the clock continues to move it. Aha! Making sense. Making sense. Alright, let's throw this back in the housing. Sorry for this video taking so long, but I was learning as we go, because I've never took one apart all the way like that. Well, I probably have, but I don't remember when. But let's see. Make sure we get our 12 o'clock up at top. Get this sliding down in here. Try to get this in there without breaking the plastic. Make sure it's going through the hole all right. Oop. Be careful there. All right, snapped in place. Looks good. Let's throw our arms on there. What's today? Tuesday? Taco Tuesday. Gotta love Taco Tuesday, right? Alright, got that pushed on Tuesday. We'll just put it right in the middle, because we'll say maybe 12 o'clock, I guess. And then our next hand, we'll just get it closed for now. This got to go down a little more. Carefully wiggling it as I'm pushing down, not to bend anything. That looks like it's good. Now for this one, we'll do the same thing. Yeah, the light's probably shining right in your eye, huh? It's not shining in mine. The reflection off it. Okay, I think that's good. Now we got our little black spot for the middle. Get that pushed in there. I think that's as far as that goes in. So now We can turn the time. Uh-oh. I didn't do it close enough. Can we cheat? Can we cheat? Yep. Cheat and put both those on 12 o'clock, put that in the middle, because that's the middle of the day, right? Right, because 12 hours, it's going to go to Wednesday. I got a long way to go. We can see it's moving off Tuesday. Okay, so we get the idea. Once it reaches midnight, that's Wednesday. So there's Wednesday. We're at the beginning of Wednesday. So we get the idea there, right? So now let's put it back on, because everything should be good so far. We're gonna put the back on and see if or should we just try the batteries? There, let's put the battery in. So this way, if you want to jump out of this video, you can, while I put the rest of it together. So let's put this in. It's in there. I can hear it. Hey, you can actually see it too. Can you see that moving? The big hand? It's actually working. Nice. We have time and day again. So like I said, this doesn't have a third hand, so you don't see that one just whipping around like this. Alright, looks good. Let's throw this back on. Let's see. I thought I was going to have extra screws, but I remember where they go now. Quickly throw these in here. Get you on your way, because this video took a little bit longer than what I wanted it to. So now our glass, which needs to be cleaned, but for right now we'll just put this together. And now what holds this glass on is our outer piece, which has 3 screws. Once we put those screws in, our glass will be secure. Let's see, get it down here. Our glass slipped out. There we go. Yeah, that's why we need to might have to do something else for holding that glass. We might have to actually put some super glue or something around it a little bit. Not a whole bunch, just in case you ever got to take it apart again and fix that or replace that again. Alright. Look at that. Is that perfect or what? We actually fixed something that we thought we was going to end up throwing away. But the hand's still moving. Looks good. Great job. Hope yours worked out as good as this one did. Alright, we'll see you on the next one.